What's up, fam? It's your boy Heaven Hollywood back on IE Network, and this is the Heaven Hollywood Report. And let's get to it. Shout out to my sponsor, in case you didn't know. That's icydk.blog. Make sure you check them out on mobile devices and the World Wide Web. Before we get started, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss one video. Let's go. And let's get it started. I hate to keep patting myself on the back, but there's been a lot of talk for the last couple of days on social media, and of course it stems around female rap as usual. Now, there was a conversation started on the podcast Rory and Mal. Now, they were speaking to, I don't know whether she was a guest for that show or whether she is just, maybe she has her own show, what have you, but they were speaking on Rory and Mal, and her name is Damaris, all right? Damaris brought up Ice Spice. Rory and Mal was saying how if you accepted Cardi B's come up, because I believe Damaris is a Cardi B fan, if you respected Cardi B's come up, then how do you not respect Ice Spice's come up? Damaris said Ice Spice doesn't have the talent. Of course, the boys, most of the straight men that are horn dogs for Ice Spice say, oh, she's got talent. They don't want to tell her straight up like me. Like, I don't really think she's all that talented. I just like to look at her ass. But they said, oh, she's talented. And they kind of compared Cardi B's come up to Ice Spice come up. Well, Cardi B was on social media, and Damaris said basically the only reason that Ice Spice is popping is because she's light-skinned. If she was a chocolate girl, she would not be popping like this. So Cardi B took to social media, and she went into her come up. She's letting people know what her come up was about, and she went over a few other things that we need to discuss. So what we're going to do is take a listen to what Cardi B said, and then we'll come back and unpack it.
Money on this fashion shit because I love clothes. It was hard back then to get a front row even at the blonde show for me. Me and my publicist, we couldn't even get in some shows. We were trying to sneak in like, oh, if they see us, if they see my clothes, they're gonna want to know. It's easier now for females, and I'm not even mad at it. But in 2017, 2016, 15, it wasn't like that. Now what I want to say though, too, right? When it comes to other female rappers' success that are happening now and everything, some females are gonna come up faster than others. And a lot of people will think that it's that, oh, that's because their labels are putting money behind them, this and that. The labels are putting money behind the girls that people are listening to. So if you feel like somebody is coming really fast and everything, that's because y'all listening to them. The labels only go with who's getting the most listens, who are getting the most plays, who are people are watching more, this and that. Like that. You cannot blame nobody for that. You can't blame no machine for that. You can't blame nothing for that. Labels are only going to put money on people, on artists that people are listening to. And you can't hate on that. You just can't. That's why you can't hate on nobody else's come up. Because everybody going to be like, the label's putting more money on this. The label's putting money on that. The labels is going to put money on they do analytics. Whoever the people are listening to, they're going to put the money behind it. So you can't hate on it.
Now, a lot of people believe that Cardi B was both responding to, shading, and defending Ice Spice all in one. So not really responding to Ice Spice, but responding to that discussion on Rory and Mal. And then where people felt as though she was shading her was when she said it's a lot easier for girls to get in now. But I don't really think she was shading her. She was just saying it's a lot easier now and you really can't hate on it. But back when she was coming up, she was just really saying it was harder when she was coming up, just so you don't try to depreciate, what she's done. That's basically what she was saying. I really don't think she's trying to hate on Ice Spice. And the reason why I don't think she was, maybe she wants to, but Cardi B is playing chess right now, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So right now, regardless of what Cardi B feels for Ice Spice, and we'll get into that in a minute, but right now she knows that the right move, especially when she's getting ready to drop, is not to come off shady towards Ice Spice or not to act like you're jealous of Ice Spice and not to be jealous of Ice Spice, especially you have your project coming. So if you're playing chess, you're going to say, you know what? I'm not going to say nothing to hate on this girl. Let her do her thing. I got my stuff coming out. I don't need people to be calling me a hater and then say, you know what? Just for that, you hating on the young girl, we're not going to support your project. So Cardi B made the right move by not, going against somebody who right now is shining. Now, Cardi B really mentioned the come up because she wanted people to know, the difference between her come up and Ice Spice's come up. And like I said numerous times, Cardi B was already popping. She was 2 million followers in before she even got on Love and Hip Hop. So even though the push is very similar, the come up is very, very different. Like I said, Cardi B already had a following. That's how she got on Love and Hip Hop. Wherein Ice Spice was, in my opinion, planted into the industry. And I'll explain to you what an industry plant is. An industry plant is someone that is put into the industry where it's made to seem to the masses like, oh man, what an organic come up. This girl came, and she grew her fan base organically, and it's like the coming from nothing to something, from started from the bottom, now we're here type story. But the real story is they were already signed. That's the reason why they, she's already signed to Lucien Grange, Grange's brother or son, to Elliot Grange. So that deal was already going to go down. How do you think Drake knew to shout her out? How do you think Kanye West knew to shout her out? He's close with those people. He's close with Lucien and Elliot Grange. Drake is close with Lucien Grange. How do you think Drake knew to shout her out? You think Drake would have been shouting her out at any other time? And it was saying before that Drake was laughing at her music. And like I said, Munch was a bubbling under. It never charted. So as much as it went viral and people were saying they loved it, I always challenge people to go back to the original comments under the Munch video and tell me what you see. Everybody was destroying Ice Spice, saying she's trash, she can't rap, she's no lyrics. But then once they go and get Nicki Minaj and Nicki Minaj found out about Ice Spice, but she had to act like, oh, this girl. But Elliot Grange told that's how she knew to check for Ice Spice. Look how long those other girls, Nicki Minaj always tells you, oh, I didn't know you hit me up 2 years ago. All these girls try for 2 and 3 years to get in touch with Nicki Minaj, but Ice Spice, within a couple of months, in contact. That's because she went through Lucien and Elliot Grange. Now it seems as though Cardi B is finally taking serious what I told her 6 months ago. And what I told Cardi B 6 months ago via DM, or maybe even longer than that now. But the moment I saw Ice Spice out at the OVO Fest, or wherever it was that Drake had her go, and then after Drake unfollowed her, I said, let me see what happens, for this next week after Drake unfollows her. And then we saw her putting out the videos and putting out more songs, and people, and then Lil TJ, and then people started shouting around, and I said, this girl ain't going nowhere. And then I found out she's from the Bronx, and I said, this is Cardi's replacement right here. From the alleged issues that of Atlantic and Cardi B, I told everybody, Atlantic and Cardi B were going through some things, and I said, they're getting tired of waiting. Still no new album. This is the replacement they're going to have in place to replace Cardi B. I said that. Everybody laughed at me. They said, I don't know what I'm talking about. I said, this girl's going to get popular. Everybody, oh, this girl's trash. Oh, you do hear those lyrics and munch, this, that, and the third. Here we are a year later. Less than a year. This girl has 3 songs that's charting. She had a song that go to number 3. She had a song that went to number 4. She's already at the Met Gala. It takes people years sometimes to get invited to the Met Gala. And now she's sitting front row in Italy for a fashion show. You just heard Cardi B say how hard it was for her. She said, yeah, it's easier now. But it might be easier than it was before, but I don't see everybody sitting up at that show in Italy. So this girl is on their necks, like I told everyone she would be. Not that I think she's all that talented, but she's got the look, she's got the sound, she's got the voice, she's got the swag, and she's got a Nicki Minaj cosign. Now, it seems as though Nicki Minaj must have saw or heard what Cardi B. Remember, Nicki Minaj is announcing a tour she has coming up, telling her Barb to save their money. She's got a tour coming up. Also said, the single and albums coming up. And she started putting some, messages on Twitter talking about we're having a contest. Then she started talking about fashion, and the Barb started tweeting some of the her old-fashioned gigs. Now, Cardi B, I've seen someone else say this. I believe it was Armand Wiggins. Cardi B, if you do not pay attention, the same thing that happened to Nicki Minaj with Remy Ma. Nicki Minaj started focusing on Remy Ma, what Remy Ma was saying about her, and she didn't see Cardi B. She didn't see Cardi B coming from behind after Remy Ma knocked that crown off her head. When she went down, when Nicki Minaj went down to pick it up and put it back on her head, Cardi B was already down there fiddling with the crown. Same exact thing. If you are going to be too consumed with Nicki Minaj, which you should not be at this point in your career, you're going to mess around and Ice Spice is going to trick you out of your spot. Well, not Ice Spice, but you're going to let these fans trick you out of your spot, as Armand Wiggins would say. You fans that love Cardi B, you need to tell her to put that music out, and she needs to watch for Ice Spice, not anyone else. I didn't really understand the Nicki tweets. I get people were saying, oh, she was just doing that to try to shade Cardi, whatever. I didn't really understand them, so I'm not going to make a comment and say she was or she wasn't. I'll let y'all be that, determine that. But she was basically saying, oh, we're going to run a contest. I want you to tweet all my accolades, and I'm getting ready to update some plaques. When you start talking about plaques and updating the charts and stuff like that, that's all Cardi B. So if I'm Cardi B, I just let Nicki Minaj talk, tweet, let her fans say what they want, but do not respond, because every minute you respond and every second you take to respond is another second that Ice Spice, who's sitting over there in Italy, not bothering nobody, is creeping up your spot. She already has more Spotify listeners than you, and she hasn't even been out a year, and you've been out 5 years, Cardi B. She passed Cardi B. She passed Megan Thee Stallion. Coi Leray is now past Cardi B. So For the Cardi B fans, you can't tell me that her not. I know that Invasion of Privacy is still selling. I know Cardi's still breaking records. You cannot tell me it has not affected her fan base, because you now have someone who's only been making music for 9 or 10 months. They now have more Spotify followers. And yes, I know that has a lot to do with that fan base that's jocking her right now. But the bottom line is the numbers are the numbers. And she has more in 1 year than an artist like Cardi B, who's been in the game 5 years. But I told y'all this was going to happen. So my thing is this: do you now believe what I was saying? Do you now believe what I was saying? Cardi B, you better put this album out, my girl. I don't know what you're waiting on. I know you say it's coming soon, but there's two types of coming soon. Is it next week coming soon, or 2 months from now coming soon? Because 2 months from now might be too late. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. All right, this girl has got the backing, and even though, like I said, I don't think she's very talented, her songs obviously are catchy to a lot of people, and on top of that, she has that fan base. So I don't know what Cardi B is going to do here, but I know she should. I totally agree. I don't agree a lot with Armand Wiggins. Totally agree when he says, leave Nicki Minaj alone. Don't worry about her. She's tweeting, oh, isn't it great when a plan comes together? And I think her plan is to try to distract Cardi B so her girl Ice Spice can go up, knock Cardi B out the box, and then it'll just be Nicki and Ice Spice at the top. Cardi B, you cannot allow that. If you still want to stay in this rap game and be considered as, that girl that's up there, that second girl or what have you, and Nicki Minaj, like I said, she's kind of like in her own world. That's like comparing R&B singers to Mariah. Like, Mariah's just off doing her thing, puts out records when she wants. Nicki shouldn't even be competing anymore like that. She should have nothing to prove. So, sit back. I put out records when I want. I don't care if they chart. I'm already legendary. So, like Mariah Carey does. Mariah Carey don't be trying to compete with Ponytail and Olivia Rodrigo. She's not trying to compete with those people anymore. So let me know what you think. I said to you now, again, I don't know how long Ice Spice is going to last or what have you. Do you now believe that Ice Spice was put here to replace Cardi B? And do you now believe that Ice Spice is an industry plan? I do. And the come up is way different. You didn't hear any mixtape from Ice Spice. She don't have no previous work. She just popped up and, hey, look, everyone loves me. And trust me, she's easy on the eyes. And, her songs got some catchy tunes to it, but she's not a lyricist. She has no bars. She can't dance. So she's just good to look at. And, she's got a cute little style. But she's from the Bronx, Cardi B. You better get that music out, sis. Let me know what you think down in the comments. It's your boy Heaven Hollywood for the IE Network.